Never heard of the Millennium Falcon?
Should I have?
It's a ship that made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
Look, I work alone.
Ezra's a kid that's been living on his own. He's a con artist, but he's only 14.
He's had a little rough, but he never really feels bad for himself. He's very street smart. He's a pickpocket. He's a little thief. But he's doing it all because he needs to survive. Hey, the kid's gotta eat.
He's not a bad kid. It's just what you do in this time. And he's not wealthy enough to be taken care of. He's not wealthy enough to get off the planet.
He doesn't really trust anyone. That's kind of his motto in life.
Why would I risk my life for a bunch of strangers? People don't do that.
He has that kind of hard edge at times, but he knows how to turn on the charm when it comes to getting what he wants, and he's just very charismatic. Like, I feel like people want to be his friend.
Well, every little bit helps.
He's been outrunning stormtroopers and fighting against the Empire his whole life.
But he's not a rebel. That's not really what he's about yet. If he can steal from the Empire in small ways, great. He doesn't mind sticking it to them at all. In fact, he likes doing that.
He always wants to get his hands on some of their tech, take it apart, mess with it. He's always stealing their helmets, because what kid wouldn't?
Ezra is I just have a soft spot for him because he is the first character we came up with for the show. I'm always rooting for him.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Kessel Run Weekly. This is the main channel episode. If you are looking for Clone Wars commentary, you can find that on the same Kessel Run Weekly page. But we are here today with a character chat for the main channel. I'm your host, Cheyenne, and I'm joined today by Brody. Say hi, Brody.
Hey, everybody.
Very excited. I personally don't know too much about this character, and if you didn't already figure it out, we're talking about Ezra Bridger today. I will be completely open and honest first, right off the bat. I don't know much about this character because I don't like him very much. Now, I know, gasps from the crowd.
As a Star Wars fan, you either have to like everything about Star Wars or hate everything about Star Wars.
Hate everything about Star Wars.
There's no in between.
No in betweens. I'm fake fan. So it's not that I don't like the character of Ezra Bridger. So I just don't like him. You know what I'm saying? There's a distinction. He is written very well. His story is very good. The actor is also very good at portraying the character himself. I just get annoyed because he's annoying. It's not that he's bad or anything, you know? That's what I mean.
Have you watched all of Rebels?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
I just
3
wanted
times.
to make sure. I don't know if it was going to be oh, I watched the first season. He's kind of terrible. It's it's the first season. No one liked Ahsoka in the first season, and now she's the number one fan favorite of everyone.
No. I actually, I'm not going to lie, I liked him when he was younger rather than as he grew throughout the series, which I know is very strange.
That is strange.
Yeah.
You know, that's... Well, that kind of throws away everything I read up for this podcast, so thank you all for listening. And
Rolls credits. No, it's not he's not one of those I mean, Brody, you know me, listeners know me pretty well at this point. There's nothing that I actually hate about Star Wars. He is just probably he's definitely one of my least favorites, but that's also why I was excited to have this conversation, because I do see his appeal, and like I said, he's written very well. His story is very good. He is not a bad character. I just am annoyed with him most of the time. So that being said, what are your thoughts and feelings on him before we get into some details?
I would say he's not my number one favorite character in Star Wars Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably have to go to Zeb. I've always loved Zeb. He's always been my favorite.
He's a good one.
Zeb or Kanan. Kanan always just seems like the right guy. If I were to choose, if you could have one friend in a fight, who'd it be? Kanan.
Yeah, that's true.
So, At first, yeah, I didn't like Ezra because it was like, oh, he feels very like Aladdin. Like, I don't know why, but I just got very much like Aladdin, like street rat, scoundrel, take
I literally wrote that down. I wrote
Did you literally write
Aladdin.
like Space Aladdin?
I wrote V Aladdin. Because in that little clip that I played, it's got like him saying
I'm
like
Jedi Knight Ali.
yeah, like boys gotta eat, and I'm like, hey, that's a line from a song that I know.
Hey, like we're not only Star Wars nerds, we're also big Disney nerds.
Yeah, we're out here with all of the deets.
Over time, I really did fall in love with Ezra as a character. You know, I enjoyed him because he feels very, like, I guess, grounded. Or, like, I mean, maybe even the opposite of grounded. He has a character, very well established. But he shifts in what he knows is right and wrong. You know, he has his moments where he's like, I don't know what to do. I can't think. I don't know what to do. It seems really human.
Yeah.
You know, and it makes it relatable because, you know, in a world where tattooed, spiky-headed guys with double-bladed laser swords and giant purple guys throwing you around in your cabin all day, like, that could get stressful. And you could even see, like, how the stress of, like, past episodes are affecting him. Especially, like, after... Is it a spoiler to say that Kanan dies?
Not at this point, I feel like.
Yeah, the thing is, my girlfriend hasn't seen Rebels yet.
Oh my god! Well, tell her not to listen to this episode.
We're in season 3 of Clone Wars. We've been trying to chug through it, but work and school has been a pain.
Yeah, that's fair.
But,
it's a lot.
If my girlfriend is listening to this, here's a shout out. That's the shout out. So now we're gonna move on forward. She's gonna text me like at 3 a.m. and be like, "What was that?
What was that? Excuse me?" I'm like, huh?
But a lot of times, I feel like because there are those moments when characters you feel like are like, "Oh, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Don't do that. Don't do that." But with like Ezra, he has those moments, but it seems reasonable. It doesn't seem like something stupid in the writing. It seems like something a human being would do, because not only is he, you know,
fair.
He does have the Force, but that doesn't mean he's, you know, popping out, being full Jedi. Like,
right.
He's still a kid. He's still young. He thought he had, you know, he thought he had his life set being a street rat, maybe even getting off Lothal, because after losing his parents, you know, he didn't know what to do after that.
Yeah.
So already that's kind of like, that's weight number 1. You're alone. And then, oh, now the Empire is after you. That's weight number 2. Then part number 3, you're part of an organization that fights against the tyranny of the Empire, which means you're priority target number 1 in the galaxy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stress for one little blueberry boy to, you know, take care of.
Yeah.
So I understand when Ezra has these moments of stress and anxiety because it's real, you know, it's grounded and it makes sense with his position in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the things that Star Wars teeters on the edge of, is doing it really well or really badly with characters. Like they want to have all of this like lesson and backstory, and they try to shove it into something. And like Rebels gave him like a lot of room to do all of those things, and they had opportunities for time skips and all sorts of stuff, even when they weren't huge time skips, or they were just like like him cutting his hair. Like that wasn't like a huge time skip, but it was something significant enough for us to know that there had been a change in his life. As far as his learning,
Kanan's been blind during that time, and you know,
Right.
he's been like, they've kind of been broken up a bit because, you know, Maul tried to be like, you can be my apprentice, and just like, whoa, hey Genie, get me out of here. You got it out. And they fly out of the giant tiger.
They fly out of the tiger mouth. Yeah, I remember that part.
Reminds me of that one level in Kingdom Hearts when you do the same thing. I love that level.
I don't think I've ever played that level. You know what?
I played it ages ago.
I've only played Kingdom Hearts 3, so I don't know what the other two in required, whatever word I'm thinking of. And I still haven't finished Kingdom Hearts 3 because I get really frustrated. I stop playing.
There's so much stuff when
There's
it's
so many
like
things.
when Goofy's like, the darkness consumed your heart, and it's like, Goofy, you wouldn't just keep making candy companies. goof. Keep making the goof troop.
Goof
But
troop.
I just thought of something about Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he is a good character like Rey, but he's like the opposite of Rey. Where it's like Rey, in most of her experience, automatically kind of like has it together. And she like, you know, usually in most situations comes out on top.
Right.
She, like, in almost every scenario, knows what to do. While Ezra, most if not all the time he's been, you know, on screen, he doesn't really know what to do. Except for, like, you know, when he has, like, oh, that's an Ezra idea because it's so far-fetched and out there.
Right.
While Rey is very direct with her plans, you know?
Or it's like a very, like, he is allowed to be immature. Rey never really got an opportunity to be immature, you know?
Exactly. Ezra, I feel like... I don't want to be like, oh, he's quirky, but it's true because only he would have a plan to summon giant hyperspace whales to latch onto a Star Destroyer. It's like, and everyone's like, yup, that's Ezra. That's Ezra's plan. This plan reeks of Ezra.
Yeah.
And it's like...
of Ezra. Yeah.
He always just comes up with something on the fly. You know, that's, I think, his thing, because he's very, like, you know, like, one jump over the bread line. You know, is that the line? The bread line?
Yeah, no, you're right.
One hop over the sword.
Is it bread line or red line?
Red line?
I don't know.
God.
I don't know. Because redlining, you know, that's a real thing.
Red line, but you know what? I'm going to put this to rest. Because
Googling.
I know there are going to... People like us who would listen to a podcast like that, we'd be like, it's this!
Yeah.
It's this!
Doing a Google. Well, while you do the Google, I'm going to say to any of the listeners that if you haven't visited the Ezra Bridger databank page on StarWars.com, I highly recommend it. It has like a little summary of him.
Of that song?
What? One Jump Ahead.
It's called One Jump Ahead?
Uh-huh. I think. One Jump Ahead Aladdin, I would say. Gotta
yes,
get
it
the
is.
animated lyrics.
Okay. Yes, one jump ahead of the bread line, one swing ahead of the sword.
That makes
I
sense,
steal only what I can afford.
That's everything. Oh my god. That was good. So on the databank page, there's also a section where I played that clip from earlier of videos. We do not own the rights or the music to any of that. But there's other videos. So there's like things about his fear, things about a quote that he said where he said he's not gone. And then there's one that says Star Wars Rebels property of Ezra Bridger. And it's a short. It's like 3 minutes long. There is the biography gallery, which is on almost every character. And then there's this little section that maybe I just haven't scrolled far enough before that has their quotes. So 3 of the quotes that they highlight by Ezra. First one is, stand up together because that's when we're strongest as one. We are rebels fighting for the people and fighting for you, which I feel like is the thing that he did when he was recording to like inspire Lothal. And then I want to become the Jedi you see in me, the one I don't always see in myself, which is so sweet. And it makes me want to cry. And then it goes through his history. God. And then it says like related. So then you get all the other Rebels characters. So that's fun. Okay. Before I ask you some things about like news-wise with Ezra, I figured we could also go through like Wikipedia stuff, which again is really just like always a breakdown. There's not really, it's not really like questions for me to ask on, or from Wikipedia. It's just a history for me to give. So obviously you all can visit this on your own. But Ezra is Force-sensitive human male. At this, when we first meet him, we don't think that we don't know that he's Force-sensitive. We assume that that's probably very likely. But he also doesn't know that he's Force-sensitive. Or he, like, has one of those, like, weird, I'm definitely going to be a Jedi one day inklings, but doesn't actually know yet. So he hasn't employed the Force in his daily life of, like, stealing things. But then eventually, like Brody was saying earlier, he does become a Padawan to Kanan Jarrus and is a freedom fighter and a revolutionary leader in the early rebellion against the Galactic Empire. End quote.
I love him.
He was born on Empire Day in 19 years before the Battle of Yavin to Ephraim and Mira Bridger. Which, while we don't know too much about them, we do know that they got arrested, which is what left him as an orphan, and then inevitably they died in imperial custody, I believe, is what we were told. But also because they were freedom fighters and spoke out against the Empire and then eventually got caught, which we see a little bit of Adventures on Lothal, involving his parents. Listen, I get it, you know. Got vaccinated today. My body is like slowly but surely draining. So
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That's why I keep flailing my arm, because my arm's starting to hurt.
Just to kind of get circulation back.
Yeah. So, because my roommate was like, you should just like flail your arm every now and then to make sure that when it starts to hurt, it's not like just like throbbing and killing you. So it's getting there.
and just so the topic of the vaccine, this is not a political podcast. We're not going to get into it. It's a thing about life.
Nope.
The end.
The end.
Moving on.
Get it or don't.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Here's the answer to my own question. In 4 years before the Battle of Yavin, Bridger learned that his parents were killed while attempting to escape from prison. I did not remember that. I thought they just died or got killed.
They were taken by the Empire, and that's kind of all he knew. He kept getting visions because he kept getting visions like, my parents are alive. I keep seeing this visual of like a white loth cat and this guy that's on a hill.
Right.
And when they went there, it was Governor Azani, aka Mr. Krabs.
Oh,
and
yes.
He was like,
Mr. Krabs.
Because it's voiced by Clancy Brown.
What's his face? Yeah. What's his face?
Who also voiced Savage Opress, which is fun.
I just saw that article.
Yeah, and he also played a character in one of Grace's favorite games, Detroit Become Human.
Oh,
where
I've never heard of that.
He swears a lot in that game, and every time he does, it sounds just like Mr. Krabs swearing.
Oh no!
Like to a T.
Oh, that's funny.
It's so funny.
That's ridiculous.
If you guys are okay with swear words and you wanna get a good laugh, just look up like Clancy Brown in Detroit Become Human, or just play Detroit Become Human. Very good game, very fun.
Sounds weird.
The game?
Yeah, Detroit Become Human. What does that even mean?
It's about like AI that are like AI androids that are trying to like integrate with society, and you're like a detective AI, and there's like, I think Clancy Brown, Mr. Krabs' character, who looks just like him, by the way. Like they make the characters like based off of the actors who play them.
Oh my god. Of course they do.
Of course. Like if you ever played the Halo games, there's a character called Edward Buck, and his face is just Nathan Fillion.
You know the character that the person that voices one of the Vizsla peoples in this or Clone Wars, I can't remember. He's Dr. Owen Hunt in Grey's Anatomy, and he also looks like the cartoon character that he plays. Yeah. I'll have to figure out which Vizsla it is.
Well, Pre-Vizsla is voiced by Jon Favreau.
Okay, so then it must be Vizsla. Spell it properly. Idiot.
Yeah, Pre-Vizsla was Death Watch in the Clone Wars.
Who?
If anyone's new to these podcasts, they should know that Cheyenne and I love to segue off into different subjects.
Yeah, sorry. We were here to talk about Ezra Bridger, but Ezra Bridger is involved in a lot of things.
Mandalorian. Well, believe it or not, we were talking about Star Wars. Then we started talking about a completely different franchise, and somehow circled back to Star Wars, but different Star Wars.
Story of our lives.
Honestly,
Story of our lives.
I want a talking podcast. I want a podcast where we can just segue and just be like, so how has this happened today? And we could be allowed to swear. That's my only requisite.
Yeah, I think that we will get to that point for sure, especially after I move. I think that will be an additional thing that I can take on, because life is going to change a lot. Also, here it is. This is not a good picture. It's a very blurry picture right now. But that's Kevin McKidd, and he plays Fen Rao.
Oh, he plays Fen Rao.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And I remember the first time that I heard him speak in that role, and I was like, I know this voice. I know this voice. And I like looked it up, and then I was like, And that's just him in animation.
That's just him.
It's
in
just
this
the same
weird,
person.
Like, animation.
Well, and he plays like a military officer in Grey's Anatomy, so it's like the same role.
I never watched Grey's Anatomy. I feel like everyone around me did, but I just never took the time because I've never been a hospital drama kind of guy. I've never been a drama kind of guy.
I've never been a hospital drama kind of person. I've never watched a soap opera in my life until I watched Grey's Anatomy, but I'll tell you what, it takes up a lot of your soul.
And so does Star Wars. But
yeah,
then
so
again,
like
we could produce it into this format of like talking about it. Which can make
I was doing a lot of articles on Grey's Anatomy for Screen Rant, like a few weeks ago, and so I was just like, I'm just gonna rewatch the whole thing, and I am. I'm only in season 8 out of 17.
I always feel like the odd one out when it comes to like the content creators here, because it's like, you're a writer for Screen Rant, Danny is a streamer, Grace is like a Twitch moderator. I'm just like, hi.
Hello. Hey, listen, I just got that job, and I mean, it's awesome and amazing, but it took me a while to get there. So
I mean, yeah, you know, coming. Well, first of all, congratulations to anyone who doesn't know. I think we mentioned it in one that hasn't come out just yet.
Yeah, I'm editing it today and then posting it today.
Cool.
But yeah,
I'm excited for that one. I love that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. Is that
but yeah. To anyone who didn't listen to that one, Cheyenne got an awesome gig, and she's writing amazing articles. So go give them a look. Do you get a like source of revenue from like how many clicks you get on an article?
Not clicks. Well, and I think there's some details, some like financial details in it that I haven't quite worked out that are explained to us. I just haven't had the time and energy to go through that, but I do get paid per article, which is awesome.
All right. So yeah, everybody support Cheyenne on Screen Rant. You could just look her up in any kind of. That's how they do it, right? You just go on Screen Rant and type in the name.
I thought so, and I guess not, but I usually share my articles either on my Facebook and like if I do Star Wars ones, like I'm working on a Star Wars one today. So when I do those, I'll share them to the Kessel Run Weekly Facebook page, so that's a good place to get them whenever I can share those. I've only done, I think, 1 or 2 other Star Wars ones so far. So I'll go and post those actually now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, you can't search my name, which I thought was interesting. But basically we have to do at least 1 article or like 3 articles a week.
Wow.
So I got articles coming out. So if you go to the page, you're likely to see something or like topics. Search a topic on Google.
Ziggity.
Yeah.
And it's like I could barely get like a research paper of something done, and I'm just like,
They're not as like they're pretty like taxing. I was like, that's not the word.
That's the word.
They're pretty taxing, but like in fast-paced manner. Does that make sense? So like I can
I cannot write under pressure when it's like, I need you to write an essay due by next week. For some reason, I cannot write.
Yeah.
But whenever I want to do something, like I write a script or I just want to do my own little story, I go off. I write like the most beautiful things, or like I'm doing writing a story like Dungeons and Dragons with my friends online, and I write like these beautiful, well-written like paragraphs of like descriptive text.
Nice.
And then when they ask for that essay, I'm just like, you may as well give me an F.
It's the same sentence 5 times in different words,
phrased differently.
Yeah.
It's like I don't like writing. Writing isn't my favorite. Out of all my times of writing, I didn't like it.
I get what you mean.
Writing, not my thing.
Not my thing. I get what you mean for sure. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I was gonna say something. I don't remember.
Well,
whoopsie.
How about we get back on the tracks?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I apologize for going on another segue.
I apologize.
I really want viewer feedback to know if they actually like this format of when we go off, or should we just have a shock collar whenever we start going on a segue, just like, oh, yup, Ezra, it's about Ezra.
I'll get my taboo buzzer and I'll buzz at us.
Exactly.
We'll get Grace to moderate podcasts as well.
Oh my god.
She won't say a word, she'll just buzz at us.
And then occasionally when we're really going off, she would just be like, guys,
you
aren't even paying me.
When she fully gets hello, like that voice on, I'm like, okay, sorry, Grace.
And it was like, hello. And it's just like,
okay, my bad.
sorry, Grace.
Sorry, Grace. Okay,
In full
Ezra.
Amidala gear.
Yeah, really.
In full Amidala, like, get up as well. Just
It's like her
stern.
standing in the Senate room. Good Lord. Okay, let me kind of scroll through this part. I saw like a keyword. Oh, okay. So this like section talks about how I'm still on Wikipedia for those that are following along. This little section talks about how Ezra's powers are growing stronger. And so he is like taking on more missions, and that's kind of it's balancing between like getting the better of him and he's not super great at it yet, and also like being too confident about it and they're letting him go do it. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Teaches him about failure and whatnot. Within all of this, they happen to meet Rex. And then they also experience that little like battle that they had to do. So it's Ezra, Kanan, and Rex and all those battle droids. You remember what I'm talking about? So
Great episode.
Great episode. I wanted to ask you, how or what do you think Ezra would have been doing? Imagine he's a Padawan in the time of the Clone Wars. How do you think, first of all, who do you think his master would have been then, if you could imagine like pairing him with a master? And then like, what do you think he'd be doing as far as like missions and whatnot? Like,
So
is he
we're
more like
talking about,
Anakin,
age
more like
stuff, right?
Yeah,
Like we're not talking about, because he was born on Order 66.
right.
That was the day he was born. He was born
Right.
at the same time as Luke Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
which
All
is
of the
a little
things.
fun fact.
Yeah,
All of it's connected.
all of the days.
So, the Force just really had a good day with that one, because I guess with so many Jedi dying, there was a whole lot of Force that wasn't occupied. So it was like, ah, crap, give it to this baby, give it to this baby. All these babies get Force.
I've never heard that phrased that way. That, like, the Jedi are taking up space within the Force.
Because the balance, I suppose. Because the Force is rearing up to bring back the balance. Because it's like, okay,
Right.
maybe we'll give a little bit of the balance to the dark side. Only a little bit. Oh, God, they killed all of them. Oh,
They took it. They took it and they ran.
Okay. We're on red alert. We gotta give it to that baby. Give it to that blue one over there. Twins, both.
No. Yeah, oh my god, I've just
why
never thought about it that
people
way.
Theorized why Kylo Ren and Rey were so powerful was because there weren't many Force users at the time. You know, the big wigs. You know, like Darth Vader, formerly the Chosen One, and Emperor Palpatine. They both are, you know, gone. That's a whole lot of unoccupied Force.
That's a whole lot of Force. Yeah.
That's why Rey and Kylo are so unbelievably strong, but they say it's because their strength comes from being a dyad in the Force.
Mhm.
So
That's true.
but that's
interesting.
That's a very heavy subject too, the dyad.
Yeah.
I definitely want to have a character chat, but instead of like character, it's just the Force. We just talk about the Force's power, the Force in its ever like changing ways.
I have a proposition for you. So
Is this still gonna make it into the podcast? Is this gonna be like the
yes.
Avengers mid-credits scene of
Yeah.
teasing the next movie?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, this is like half promotion, half commercial, half whatever you want it to be about the future of Kessel Run Weekly. So in 2022, it will be the 45th anniversary of A New Hope, I believe. I can check some math on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Let me
Do a Google.
Do a Google. New Hope
If that is true,
release.
even if it's not true, maybe we'll still do this because then I can employ it for each year. But if that is true, what we're going to do is have a specific episode each month, because I'm going to try and do just like one Kessel Run Weekly episode a month, so that I can like make sure that I'm actually getting episodes out and not pressuring myself and then not like backing off from having too much work and then not giving you guys any content. So what I'm thinking for the 45th anniversary of A New Hope, it will be 1 specific episode about A New Hope every single month. So something would be like, okay, this month we're talking about the characters of A New Hope. This month we're talking about the plot line of A New Hope. This month we're talking about the Force in A New Hope, the art of A New Hope, the music in A New Hope. So every single month we'll have a specific topic for a specific episode of A New Hope. It's my great idea. I'm very excited about it. I can't claim all of it because listening to Blast Point's podcast gave me that idea. Because I don't know if you listened, but they did the Saga year, and it's really awesome. Highly recommend.
Sounds like fun.
Jason and Gabe are so funny and so chill.
I need to listen to more podcasts. Like I say, I listen to podcasts, but I listen to one or two because I listen to this one and I listen to two YouTubers. But
I highly recommend Blast Points, and I met them at Celebration Chicago. They're so nice. They're so tall, and also equally as funny in
so
person.
Tall, and you just kind of like start dreaming off, and it's like
I was literally in my
Cheyenne.
Kira cosplay, so I think was I in Kira? I might have been in my Kira cosplay. I don't know, but I was in heels, and I was just kind of like, oh my god. And I told them that. I was like, wow, you guys are really tall. Slightly embarrassing. It's fine. Everything's fine.
I mean, like, if you don't mind me asking, how tall are you? Let the world know.
I'm 5'7".
5'7". I'm 5'8", so I'm just 1 inch above.
Nice.
I'm, I think, 3 inches shorter, like the American average.
Mm-hmm.
Which, when I was growing up, for some reason, they said 5'8" was tall.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, wow, 5'8", you're the American average. But now it's 5'11" because there's so many hunks out there. And I'm just like, how come I'm the small boy?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've always been told that I'm tall for a girl, or that I'm like I've always been like the tallest of my friend group, but literally in my household, I'm the shortest person.
I mean, like,
my roommates are
height
both
never
taller
really
than me.
matters. This is to every girl and guy, or however you identify out there. Your height means no difference. The size of your heart is all that matters.
Truth.
Because I know some people struggle with height.
Yeah, that's true. It's one of those things that you can't get away from.
Because it's a part of you, but you need to accept and know that you are exactly who you need to be.
I smell a segue coming. A segue.
A what?
A segue.
Oh,
a
well,
segue.
Is that Grace's catchphrase? I smell a segue.
Segue.
It's just like, oh my god, it should be Paul Blort's coming back for a segue.
Wow, I haven't seen Paul Blart in so long. How tall is Ezra? That's my segue.
Oh,
do we know?
Well, let's find out. How tall her weight? Yeah. Are you Googling that now, or should I?
You can Google it.
Thanks.
You have the quick Google fingers. I
Ezra
already
Bridger.
have Ezra pulled up on something else, but let's find out how tall he is.
Why don't we use the metric system?
Oh no.
Why? Because I can't guess what 1.65 meters is off the top of my head.
Somebody else probably knows. Somebody listening
What
knows.
is 1.65 meters into feet? He's 5'4".
Oh, short boy.
Oh, he's a little short.
He's
Oh,
young,
God. I
though.
love
That's
Ezra.
fair. He's not adult yet.
He's so cute.
Maybe he'll be tall, because he's 5'4" and what, like 16?
When I look up the Ezra Bridger height, it says his age is 55. Or no, 53. And status alive, that's questionable. But we'll get back to that.
Who said that?
Look, the height. It's a very realistic picture of him fighting battle droids.
Listen, that's like basically the same picture that's up on my screen right now. That's weird.
And then
53 and alive.
years old. Oh,
who did this?
53 years old. Oh my god.
Well, speaking of him potentially being alive and being a Jedi in his old age, this little thing that I scrolled to, so I clicked on his lightsaber skills, and he studied Form 4.
Which I think was Kanan's.
Yeah, so it says through a recording of Anakin found in Kanan's holocron. So I wonder if that's how Kanan learned Form 4, rather than while he was in training. Or if Kanan picked up on multiple forms. I don't know much about Kanan either. That's a whole other character chat I'd have to have. Oh, that's it. I thought I had more. But that's it. Form 4.
Everyone for a second just check their phones or their screens to see, like, did it pause?
Did it pause?
An ad?
Listen, I listen to a lot of podcasts that do that, and I At this point, I'm just like, you know what? If it stopped, and I'll figure it out in the next, 10 minutes. But I'm just going to let them have their moment.
Yeah, and then you just listen to silence, and it's just like, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, it was playing.
Yeah, they're just they come back after a little bit. What?
Funny thing about that, I was zoning out because I was totally thinking of another thing about Ezra to bring up next, and I don't know what you were talking about about what Ezra is. That was horrible wording.
That sentence was hilarious.
I could never. What did you say?
I don't know. That was just really funny the way you worded all of that.
I know. I can never work for Screen Rant. Put me on the do not employ list with a big red circle with a line through it. I don't even know how I got a position as a frequent on the podcast with the amount of times I'm just and you can subscribe and go to the social media where you can find us too. The amount of times I've fibbed.
That's okay. That's all right.
But I still really want to do a podcast because life is... It shouldn't be left for not fun.
Yeah, exactly. This is fun.
Let's talk about
That's
the
what
fun
matters.
things of life. But
that's what matters.
So I don't know if this is a question saved for around the end of the podcast or not.
What's up?
But this is a question that I feel I've seen everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But there have been no answers. There's been oh, we may answer it. I don't know. But your theory, if you have one, on where is Ezra?
You know,
Where is he?
You know me. I'm bad at theories.
I love theorizing. It's one of my favorite things.
I really enjoy talking about them, but I'm really bad at coming up with them. If I had to say anything, I would say either on Thrawn's planet or with his species, wherever that may be, or in search of his species. Because aren't they super secretive or something? I don't know.
They live, I believe, beyond the unknown regions.
Okay.
Beyond where on the same level of Exegol, where there's gravity wells, nebulous storms and stuff.
Yeah. So maybe that's it. Maybe they're looking for them and they're barely surviving on the Purgle, or looking for the Chiss, and maybe this is me having a lot of good faith in Ezra. Maybe he's looking for the Chiss because he's I'm giving you to them because I can't kill you, or he's
what? And have you read Thrawn?
I don't know. I have read Thrawn books, but I don't remember which ones I've read. The most recent one I read was Thrawn Alliances, so everything else is gone out of my brain.
Banished from his homeworld because he was rearing for the Clone Wars coming to the planet. Mm-hmm. But they were we will not go to war. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a war strategist, and they're all peaceful-ish.
I think his full name was Mithrar Naruto or something
it's something crazy.
It's oh god. His voice in the Clone Wars, they couldn't have gotten a better voice actor for him because, like a knife through butter. That's a whole podcast in itself.
That is
Thrawn's
true.
Voice, the podcast.
Hey, listen, we can just play different clips and talk about what that sounded like and what it felt like in the room.
God. As if King Midas was able to touch sound and turned it to gold.
Well, speaking of Thrawn's voice actor, do you have... So I don't have a theory for where Ezra is before I move on to my question. Do you have a theory, and what is it for where Ezra is?
So, you know me. I love theorizing. I always love making up my own Star Wars stories. Never considering them canon or anything. I never really make much of the ideas. But I believe that... there are a couple options. Mm-hmm. Since the glass on the Star Destroyer was shattered, they could have just, died. That could have totally happened.
Yeah.
But that seems incredibly unlikely thanks to Season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Because Ahsoka Tano was on that planet. I forget the name.
Corvus.
Corvus?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. So wasn't that the name of that
the ship?
jerk who dated Padme? Corvus.
No.
Clovis. That was
Clovis. But Corvus is the name of a ship in Battlefront, I believe.
Yes, the Corvus.
Mhm.
That's the Raider class Star
Yeah.
Destroyer that they have. So,
Fun facts with Cheyenne and Brody.
fun facts with Brody and Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Did you know? It's like one of those like did you know gaming videos.
Yeah, I need one of those sound bites.
I love that. Like, did you know? Yeah, this fact is about this. So, Ahsoka Tano interrogated the magistrate of Corvus because she was former Imperial who's we assume served Grand Admiral Thrawn at a time and was gifted a Beskar spear from him because he was very talented and he loved studying cultures, he loved studying the enemy. He probably even studied them for when there was the when the rebels were on Mandalore and there was like the whole Darksaber thing with Bo-Katan and everything. That
Yes.
arc.
I know what you mean, but I
where
don't know
they
the
went
word for
to
it.
Mandalore.
Mhm.
But now that I think about it, I don't remember it much either. But I feel like that's something I should really remember, considering like Bo-Katan was the
Me
last
with-
person to have the Darksaber.
Me
and
with all of Star Wars.
So, as we know, Ahsoka is hunting for Thrawn.
Mhm.
She's trying to find him. And it seems that the magistrate knows where he is, so I think it's a safe bet to say that Thrawn is 100% alive.
Yeah, I agree.
But whether that's through Ezra helping him or Ezra being dead, I don't like pitching that. Because
Yeah.
I feel like the live-action Ahsoka series that's coming soon, with Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, reprising a role from The Mandalorian,
Right.
I believe the show is going to begin from where Rebels ended, where there's that scene of Sabine looking at the mural she painted,
Mm-hmm.
and Ahsoka, like, taps the staff on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
which means, like, hey, we're going to find Thrawn. I just
Yes.
got the last clue.
Yes.
So, like Sabine and Ahsoka did when Ahsoka and Ezra were in the World Between Worlds, he was like, when you come back, come find me. And she's like, I will, I promise. So she made that promise that she needs to keep to find Ezra, along
Right.
with Sabine, because she loves the Ezra, not like a romantic way, but
Right, they're
They're
besties.
the best buds. They're the best buds of all time.
They are.
And no one
besties.
trusted Ezra more than Sabine. So I think the show's going to be about them trying to find Ezra. And I feel like either they're going to find Thrawn first and then Ezra, who's going to be like, hey guys, we've been working together this whole time to survive on this weird planet that the Purgle left us on.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe that's why Ahsoka's so passionate about it when she asks the magistrate, like, where
it's
is
like,
Thrawn?
Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?
Yeah, maybe
Just
she, like, thinks Ezra's dead or something.
I feel like she just wants to know, because I don't think Ezra would have like sacrificed himself like that if he didn't have a plan to like really take care of Thrawn.
Right.
But with that in mind, we know Thrawn's alive. I feel like that's a safe bet to say, because Ahsoka's asking the magistrate.
Yeah.
We didn't get a straight answer from her saying exactly where she is, which I think that'd be cool if that's where the Ahsoka series began. It's just like, where is Grand Admiral Thrawn? And she says, like, he's here with your friend, Ezra Bridger. And then the Ahsoka title appears. I'm calling it now. That's what they're going to do. And Ezra fans around the world are going to freak out.
That's true. I don't know if they'll do it that fast, but I definitely see it happening.
I think it's definitely going to be like a planet hopping adventure. Like,
It's going to be I feel like it's going to be very like Mandalorian, but in a Jedi's life. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
or
like the
non-Jedi's
of-
life.
Not even a Jedi.
Yeah.
She's not a Jedi anymore.
Fake Jedi.
I don't think they've confirmed her as a gray Jedi, but I think they just called her like a rebel. She's a rebel.
Yeah, I think she'll just be considered a Force user. Sorry, I'm staring at my
Force user with
gecko.
some awesome white lightsabers. Which we've done an Ahsoka character chat, haven't we? I feel like we must have. I feel like we've been talking.
You know
a
what I
lot about
have? I did
Ahsoka
it with
and
Rebecca.
Yes.
I was going to say, I know I did one.
that.
I don't remember who.
We really,
Rebecca.
I feel like at some point we're just going to get to the point where we're just like repeating them. It's like, okay, and this one is about Count Dooku. So what do you think about Count Dooku? And it's like, we already covered this.
Mm-hmm.
We're running out of content.
Never.
We get to the point where it's like, okay, we are doing a character chat about Biggs Darklighter.
Listen, maybe.
It's
Maybe.
what else is there to say except he knew Luke and he died.
And he had a good mustache.
And he had a mustache.
And he's in some deleted scenes. That's cool.
He's in.
It'd just be a
which we
shorter
covered.
one.
Everybody go click on the podcast where we talked about deleted scenes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, true. So speaking of your theory and like where they might be or how Ahsoka is gonna play a role, Dork Side of the Force has a like interview that happened, I think through Vanity Fair. This was written like 3 months ago. So basically this is about Dave addressing Ezra Bridger and Rebels connection
Dave
in
Filoni.
Yeah. Chapter 13 of The Mandalorian, which is the Jedi. The article says, I'm only reading the first 3 paragraphs. Everything happens for a reason. That's one way to address the connection of the 13th episode of The Mandalorian that it had to the animated series Rebels, Star Wars Rebels. The director and writer of this chapter, conveniently titled Chapter 13 The Jedi, Dave Filoni, spoke with Vanity Fair about where Ahsoka's live-action debut takes place in the timeline and how missing Jedi Padawan Ezra Bridger fits into the narrative of Din and Grogu's adventure. Filoni states that the placement of the Jedi was done intentionally, and the reason is quite simple. When the first 6 films were released, it went episodes 4, 5, 6, and then jumped back in time to 1, 2, and 3. Filoni clarifies also that where this installment takes place does not necessarily mean it sits where most people assume it does. Prior to the epilogue of Rebels where Ahsoka joins Sabine Wren in trying to find their missing friend Ezra. Here's his exact quote from the interview when asked where his scene fits into the timeline. It's an interesting one that's not necessarily chronological. I think the thing, so this is what Dave said, I think the thing that people will most not understand is they want to go in a linear fashion. But as I learned as a kid, nothing in Star Wars really works in a linear fashion. You do episodes 4, 5, and 6, and then 1, 2, and 3. So in the vein of that history, when you look at the epilogue of Rebels, you don't really know how much time has passed. So it's possible that the story I'm telling in The Mandalorian actually takes place prior to that. Possible. I'm just saying it's possible. So Dave really just isn't giving us any room for thought. Or all the room for thought. All of the freedom.
I think that's like all the room for thought because he's like being very direct, but then he's like, but maybe not. And
But maybe
like,
not.
oh, come on, you're bringing us back to step 1.
Says something very matter-of-factly and then goes shrugs and goes, maybe.
Could be.
Could be.
It's just theory.
Never know.
Well, what's over here?
You'll find out. One day. Eventually.
Not today.
Not today.
No.
Not in this
Later.
interview.
Bye.
He's the best. I had another Segoo and then I lost it. God, you guys really are just sticking by me if you're still listening this far.
Thank you guys so much. Comment. Okay, if you guys are listening on YouTube, we want you to comment. What's a good thing to comment? Giraffe.
Giraffe.
Giraffe. As in the animal.
Yeah.
Comment that in the comment section below, and that'll prove that you've gotten to this far into the episode.
Wow. You know,
And we'll
that's
just see-
very smart. I've literally never thought of that. That's so smart.
I've heard people say that, like, or I've watched videos, it's like, oh, you've made it this far? Comment your favorite food in the comment section below to prove that you've gotten to the end. Like that kind of stuff.
That's amazing. In that specific accent?
I don't know, most of them have accents. Usually it's, do you ever, like, torture yourself and watch, like, scary videos at night?
Of course.
I love doing that. I love watching, like, number 15, Ghosts Caught on Tape. Have you ever heard a bump in the night? Well, here's a video for you. I love watching the ones that are, like, they're so fake, but they still give you the heebie-jeebies because it's just scary visuals, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. No, mine, I have a podcast that I listen to fall asleep on nights that I feel like that. It's called Scare You to Sleep. It's awesome. Her voice does not sound like that. It's very soothing, but it's also scary stories. So, like, I literally scare myself to sleep because I'm like, I can't listen to this because I'll get scared, so I better fall asleep right now.
I feel like that's something that could degrade mental health. I'm no psychologist, but I
Maybe.
feel like that's not 100%
You never
healthy.
know.
But I mean, like, you do you. I listen to the same 5 episodes of SpongeBob.
That's
I put
fair.
That on to go to sleep, because if I'm listening to something new, I'm never going to get to sleep because I'm so interested. But if it's the same thing over and over again, I get bored of it, and then my brain is like, okay, you can sleep now. There's nothing important going on.
Yeah, I have multiple sleep podcasts. I have thought about starting a Star Wars sleep one. I mentioned it to Danny a while back, where I could, like, read, like, excerpts of books in, like, a soothing yoga voice.
I don't know
for
if
people to
there's,
sleep,
like,
but
copyright that could be involved in that, because you're technically, like, telling someone else's story, and they didn't pay you to do it.
well, and
it's
I
like,
don't think that it would be
posting the book.
beneficial to anybody
But
to
then
listen
again,
to a
they're
Star
getting-
Wars story as
it's
you
like,
sleep.
Instead of buying their book, you get to, like, you know, read, or you get to listen to this actual book that you're interested in. Like, I bought Ahsoka.
fair.
What?
I said that's fair.
Yeah, like, I bought Ahsoka because I want to read it.
Exactly.
Or I wanted to. I already read it. But I could also save my money and listen to you read Ahsoka.
That's true.
So it's like, you know,
Who knows?
that's a couple smackers that E.K. Johnson isn't getting in her penny pail.
Poor EK.
We love E.K. Johnson. Please come onto the podcast.
Yeah.
We don't know what we'd say, but please, we
We
just
would
want
definitely
the
start with
validity.
hi.
Huh?
We'd definitely start with hi, how are you?
And she'd be
that's
like,
it.
good.
That's
And
it.
then we're like, do you
Okay,
like
thanks,
books?
bye. So this is, I was gonna say this back when we were talking about like reviews and things like that, or leaving comments. So if you're leaving comments, if you're here on YouTube or wherever you're listening, we do only have 14 ratings so far on Apple Podcasts. That's the only place that I can see ratings. So I'm sorry that if you've left them anywhere else that I can't see them. But our most recent one was from March. That's unless I haven't checked recently, but it was from March, and the comment is from Mr. Nod, and he says, "A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one." And then the comment says, "This podcast is so delightful that it almost makes me forget about the coronavirus." So,
I mean, we got to be pretty powerful to expel that kind of energy.
I know. That was back when Corona just started, so that was like fresh on the brain.
Oh, so that was fresh.
Last
I was
March.
Like, oh, this
Yeah.
guy's still talking about it?
No,
I mean,
last
like,
March.
This is just starting to open.
Yeah. So if you feel so inclined, please leave a 5-star review and maybe we'll read it on the show. I'm trying to do better at monitoring stuff like that. But that's a good way to get yourself noticed
to
out
give you
here.
an idea of how well we monitor, that came out probably like what, March, April?
March 19th is when it was written, or when it was posted.
That's
2020.
exactly like 6 days after like the lockdowns. It's
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah.
We literally took a year to read that comment.
I know. Well, I've had it saved in my photos, and then I always forget to check, and then I'm like, oh. Or like I'll be doing a Clone Wars episode, and I don't want to read a Kessel Run Weekly review on a Clone Wars episode, and then I just forget. It's a big cycle.
I wanted to do for like the podcast is I want like us to post on Twitter like, we're gonna record a podcast tomorrow. Give us your questions on who you think about Kanan Jarrus for our next episode.
Yeah, we could start doing that.
It's just like, all right, we have a comment or we have a question from our friend on Twitter at CoolMcSchool, and he says, what color is Kanan's lightsaber? Blue. Anyways, like.
Well, I have some updates on the Twitter. I will tell you after we're done recording.
Okay.
Let me get this part out. This is something I
insider
wanted.
Information that you guys won't get.
Yeah, sorry.
Unless
secrets.
it's me listening to this podcast again, because I just love listening to the podcast that I'm in. Because it's just like I just want to make sure I don't sound too annoying.
I'm glad that you like to do that because I hate doing that. I don't like listening to my voice.
Sometimes when I listen to my voice, I'm just like, oh, shut up already. I'm pretty sure. Hey, future Brody. I'm pretty sure you've already done that a couple times listening to this one. Just know, this present moment, I'm having a good time. Don't worry about me. Did you remember to wash your face last night? I swear to God, if you didn't this time around, because I just started doing it, and if I'm already off of it, I'm disappointed in you. I'm sorry if you feel bad, or you might be laughing.
Brody, you gotta get yourself skincare routine. Future and present Brody.
Like stuff on my face.
You gotta get nice stuff on your face. It feels nice.
I've always had fairly clean skin, but occasionally acne just decides to, okay, him. And then all the guys just come after me. Like,
oh my god.
I just picture like a guy in like a big pip coat with like these massive dudes like behind him, just like, get him. And then all of them just like,
oh my god,
like with me on the ground, and they're all very covered in acne.
Gross.
They're the greasy boys.
Oh my goodness.
The greasy gang. Oh
Greasy
my god.
gang.
Brody's
writing stories.
We need to make Castle Weekly the greasy gang.
Ew. Absolutely not. I'm gonna talk about Ezra Bridger. Podcast. You can talk to your greasy gang. So this says, this is on InsideTheMagic.net, asking about, is Taylor Gray gearing up for live action Ezra Bridger? I'll get to my question following that in a minute, but this says, Gray addressed Ezra's ultimate act and how that fit the man he'd become after training under Kanan. So this is what the voice actor had to say about Ezra. Kanan kind of led the way with his whole selfless act, and he came to be whole. Seeing the process that Kanan went through and how that came to an end, I think that was when we started talking about how Ezra is going to do something similar. He has been led by this guy forever. Now he understands he must do something similar. The fun stuff, which we talked about. A lot of it was going to be that little nod and everything to Sabine in the end, and trusting her and that relationship that they've built, and so to see how it ends with her going off with Ahsoka to come back to find him. And then the article goes on to talk about like the involvement of the Mandalorian and all of those things, so I highly recommend checking that out. Again, it's on InsideTheMagic.net. But that's Taylor Gray's like take on like the future of Ezra, I would say, and kind of the past. But wow, fun fact: non-canon history on Wikipedia says Ezra Bridger appears in Angry Birds Star Wars 2. That's something I did not need to know, but I do know now.
For some reason, there was one time when I was just looking up Vizago, you know Vizago?
Mm-hmm.
With the the Deveronian with the cut off horn.
Yeah.
And he,
hated him.
I don't know, he kind of gets better in time, especially when he's, like, captured on that crawler.
He's like Dollar Tree Hondo for me.
Definitely Dollar Tree Hondo, but no one will beat Hondo because I am so excited to see Hondo at Disney.
Oh my god. He's incredible.
I'm really excited to see Hondo. You've seen him.
I've seen Hondo multiple times. He's incredible.
Is he incredible?
He's incredible.
Is he just as handsome as the rumors say?
He's the most handsome.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it in the least.
My question for you about that whole Taylor Gray thing. Do you think that Taylor Gray should play the live action version of Ezra? And if you do not think so, who else do you think should play him?
Well, I think Taylor Gray, Taylor Gray, is a very handsome man. Mm-hmm. He's very sweet.
True.
And if he listens to this podcast, I doubt it, but if he hears the name Ezra Bridger, hi Taylor Gray, big fans.
True. Also true.
It would be incredibly fitting for the role, because he kind of looks like Ezra. Like, of course, with art styles and everything, no one looks exactly like they do. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they did a really good job with Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan, because those. Where do you stand on the whole? Should Ashley Eckstein have been Ahsoka Tano?
I'm somewhere in the middle. I do wish that she was, but as an ally to people of color. And trying to do my best of understanding perspectives and being inclusive of all fans in all realms. I also have always fully understood and seen Ahsoka as a person of color character, like character based.
I was literally just about to bring up that point. Because even in the premiere of the Clone Wars, the person who like cosplayed Ahsoka, like the very first cosplay of Ahsoka, was a person of color.
Right. Like I've never seen her as a person of color.
I've always seen her as a person of color, and I think what they did was beautiful because Rosario Dawson definitely has like the face for it.
Yeah, I think she fits her well visually. I do wish that they had done Ashley's voice. over her.
Yeah,
I wish that they had voice dubbed
Sam
her.
Witwer over Ray Park's dialogue, because even in The Phantom Menace, with Ray Park didn't get to do the voice.
Right. I think that they should have voice dubbed with Ashley, because not only would that include Ashley in the live action portrayal, because obviously she's still going to do Star Wars stuff and she's still going to be involved, and that's awesome. But there's no way that it doesn't hurt. I'm not going to project feelings for her, but like, it would hurt me.
Also,
and
it's like, did Ewan McGregor feel bad when James Arnold Taylor voiced him?
Right, and it's like Ewan McGregor is Ashley is more in the voice realm and has her own business and is doing a lot of different things all of the time. So I don't know what her like current acting career is like, but like Ewan McGregor has almost constantly had projects in his life. So for somebody like James Arnold Taylor to step in, it's not super surprising based on whatever Ewan was doing, but I don't know the history of things of like them asking them. Like I don't think they ever asked Hayden. But Hayden's obviously like bears no ill will towards Matt Lanter, and I love Matt Lanter's voice. I do wish Hayden also voiced him.
I would,
the
things I would do to do a perfect impression of Matt Lanter's.
He is awesome. He does a great job. But I love Hayden Christensen like so much that I would have been happy either way. So. Him. And I'm happy for Rosario Dawson. I'm happy for the communities that are of people of color and fans of Star Wars to be able to see that in action. I'm annoyed at the fans that say it doesn't matter, she's an orange alien. That's irrelevant. You know that we live in the real world. You know that these are important things to address. Moving on. Ashley...
It's like you would feel pretty rude if someone said, like, oh, you're just an orange alien. It's just like, whoa!
Yeah, there's way more to it to that. And I think that it would have been good if Ashley had done it. I think it's just as well that Rosario has done it.
100%.
Rebecca and I talked a little bit more on that because Rebecca had mentioned too, like, she's like, I had never seen Ahsoka as a person of color, but like she fully understands what people mean when they say that. She just had never done that because her attachment was to Ashley and then was to Ahsoka, because she was like a huge fan of Ashley's first. And then she became Ahsoka. Because she was a big fan of her universe first.
Yes.
Maybe I backed that up. Maybe I switched it around. But you see what I mean? Like there was a first grasp and then there was a secondary grasp. So I definitely also see that perspective for Ahsoka fans. But like I said, basically my like short and to the point is I think that my ideal situation would have been Rosario in the role, Ashley voicing the role. But I'm happy regardless.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
So back to the character that we were talking about that this whole podcast is based on.
We are the worst. It's fine.
Oh, absolutely. But, I mean, this entire time we're having smiles on our faces.
Yeah, we're having a fun time.
And if
hopefully our listeners are also
have a problem with that they could just turn it off. Please don't. We need the revenue. Please. We need money. Castle Weekly has not paid me. They have not paid me a single time since I've gotten here. I at least deserve some kind of, I deserve some loyalties with this company. I've toiled day and night. I toss and turn. I can't remember the rest of the song. Day and
good
night.
Though. You started off
toss
strong.
And turn
Walks away.
No, to anyone who doesn't know my sarcasm, I don't do this for money. I do it for love. I do it for my love of Star Wars.
Yeah, we do it
Cheyenne does it for money.
Well,
she 100%. No, I'm not gonna.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not gonna throw you under the bus like
no,
that.
I also don't get paid for this. I also do it for the love of Star Wars. I would love to do it for money. Please pay me. Anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody pay me.
Please.
I'm not asking for Kessel Run Weekly.
Can we just dedicate the next upcoming 5 minutes of this podcast to be just us chanting, "Pay us, Danny. Pay us, Danny. Pay us."
Danny's probably also like, all right, somebody else pay me.
He's like, hey, I'm still looking for the check.
Yeah, he's like, hold on.
And we're just like, wait, who's getting paid?
Yeah.
And then Grace slowly walks out of the room.
It's fun. Oh my god. Okay. I had asked you about your fan casting of Ezra. Did you say anybody else? You said Taylor Gray would be ideal.
We started going on.
I know, we tangented.
I think Taylor Gray would have been great, but I have heard rumors that the actor from the live-action Aladdin, I've heard a lot of rumors that he would get. I don't know his name off the top of my head.
Mina Masood.
That's him.
I don't know if I said his last name properly, and I apologize. But yeah.
Something like that.
Yes, starts with an M.
We love him. I like the live-action Aladdin, and I thought he did a really good job. The only thing I don't like about that movie is Jafar's casting.
I agree.
Because he looked like Jafar's whiny younger cousin.
Yes.
Because,
Listen,
Jafar was...
Will Smith can do no wrong. So...
No.
Well, that's theoretical. He did wrong when he was younger, but that's from... Go watch the...
What?
I said that's wrong. He did wrong when he was younger, but that is evidence from the Fresh Prince reunion. So if you need to know more about that, go watch that. They talk about it. Other than that, Will Smith does no wrong.
I was really scared because, in the beginnings, there was the meme of the CG genie.
C Genie. Hey.
And, I was like, oh no, they're going to ruin it. But I think...
Crushed it.
That and The Beauty and the Beast were the best live-action Disney remakes. Jungle Book, did not like. I did not like the Jungle Book.
It was alright.
I did not like... Pete's Dragon made me genuinely mad. I felt really mad with watching Pete's Dragon because that was one of the ones that my mother grew up with, and therefore I grew up with. Yeah. So it was very close to my heart, and how it kind of turned into just kind of like a hipster kind of movie.
I never watched Pete's the Dragon when I was a kid, so I don't know. I didn't have a reference.
It's very close to my heart. It's very, very close to my heart. So, I know it's not a bad movie, but as a recreation of what I love,
Fair.
I do not like it.
Fair point. I liked The Lion King and Beauty and the Beast.
I haven't seen it. I have not seen the live-action Lion King yet because, good. I don't know, something about it,
It's pretty silly.
I refuse to watch any more Seth Rogen movies.
Listen, he did great. He did real good.
He was Pumbaa, right?
Yep.
Pumbaa.
It was very funny. So mean. I love Seth Rogen.
No. He's a good guy. It's just a lot of the movies that he does, his movies.
That's fair.
I like his comedies and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. Was that him? He wrote Superbad when he was 13.
Did he?
They started it when he was 13. I listened to Joseph Gordon-Levitt's podcast about being creative. He interviewed him and they talked about that. Anyways, side note. Fun facts.
It must be nice to be famous and be able to be hey, Seth Rogen, you want to come onto the podcast?
Yeah, goes, I guess they're
and then it's
I guess they're pals. Dude. Ryan Johnson was his first episode because they are pals. They are buds.
Exactly. I really want to get a decent celebrity guest on. I know it's oh, done. It's not that. We got to go through a lot of who-has.
Yeah, there's some
because it's people that I would want on are voice actors from the Clone Wars. I feel that's one of the good ones.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Try to do.
I am working on it. That's for sure.
Of course, because
it's a lot.
If you could interview any Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels voice actor, actress, person, who would it be?
Ashley Eckstein.
Ashley Eckstein.
100%.
How
about you?
You could do Ashley Eckstein. I would want to do D. Bradley Baker.
Oof. Yeah, that's a good one.
He's been my voice acting inspiration for a very long time.
I bet you guys can have a good combo. That's for sure.
Absolutely. My number one, though, voice actor that I'd love to talk to, unrelated to Star Wars. Or, actually, no, he is related to Star Wars in some ways. Tom Kenny.
Say that again?
Because Tom Kenny.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Voice actor of SpongeBob, Ice King, Newt Gunray, and the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Because he was the first person to ever introduce me to the concept of voice acting. Because when I was a kid, I actually paid attention to the end credits of a SpongeBob episode. And I was like, hey, Mom, who's Tom Kenny? And it's oh, he is the voice of SpongeBob. And it's wait, some human guy,
Somebody
like it's not like
voices him?
SpongeBob actually talking.
That's
Like,
funny.
I guess I never like had the concept of there are guys in booths with microphones that talk into them and people animate stuff over their voices.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is why I do like the format of podcasts, because we could be animated because we're projecting our voices out there. So if there are any animators that want to animate our podcast,
Oh my
or
God.
not animate our podcast, but like the best bits where we could go off on.
Listen,
tangents,
if
talk
somebody
about
just
stories.
clipped how many times I wheeze laugh, every time I go, I can't help that anymore.
Honestly,
so now
like,
it just
once we really
happens.
reach like a high level of podcasts and stuff, we should have like what is it, like 300 episodes spectacular.
Oh my
And it's
God.
like,
Yeah, we
here,
should
like,
do that.
It's like, oh man, all the time it's been. Remember every time you wheeze, it would just be like, just
Yeah.
every single one in like 1 minute long compilation. Like, that was pretty
Oh,
great.
God.
But how about we count the amount of times we went on segues? And it's like ding 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 ding
Too
ding ding,
many,
ding,
yeah.
ding, ding, and then it's just
Too
like
freaking many.
that's more segues than we have podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what would happen.
Okay.
Oh my God.
We probably went on 20 so far.
I was going to say, we are currently on one. So we are now an hour-ish in, hour and 10 in. So we'll go ahead and close out this character chat of Ezra Bridger. Do you have any final thoughts about Ezra, Brody?
I got kind of sad when his lightsaber wasn't chosen for the next Legacy Saber to be in Galaxy's Edge.
That is fair.
But I'm also happy that it's Cal Kestis,
I agree.
which I really hope is out in May.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't been keeping
Because
up with
they
that.
just released publicly Count Dooku's saber and Ahsoka Tano's Clone Wars sabers.
Mm-hmm.
So those were the last sabers that they introduced. But Cal's definitely coming. But I don't know if they're going to do every other Legacy saber that they shown for the vote.
I'm sure they'll discontinue one and then replace it with another.
Because I
some
would
point.
love Lord Corvax.
I don't know who that is.
He was from Vader Immortal, the VR game.
Oh,
on the,
never played that.
So much fun.
It looks cool.
So much
I
fun.
watched Sam Witwer play it through a glass thing at Chicago.
Really?
Yeah, he was in there playing, and I was walking by. I didn't stand and watch him. That sounds creepy. I was walking by, and I was like, "That's Sam Witwer." Yeah. So keep an eye out for this. I just came up with this Brody's Batu birthday vlog. It's a lot of bees.
Brody's Batu birthday blog.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I
That's
know.
Brody's birthday Batu. That's a four version
Of alliteration.
alliteration.
Yeah.
That's
Insane.
that's
But
four
keep an eye out for
alliteration.
that. That'll go up on YouTube. We'll probably do. What I'm hoping to do is to have my camera and to record through my camera and then have my phone and do stories. But what might happen is we'll post a story every now and then record the vlog through phone recordings, and then I'll clip those together.
Social media stories on the Kessel Run Weekly account.
Well, Brody, you want to tell the people where they can find you?
They can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TK50015. I don't post on either, but if anyone ever wants to have a chat, you are more than welcome to reach out. I dropped something. And I just find stuff that I fiddle with whenever I'm on like a podcast.
That's fine.
I love fiddling.
Yeah, you gotta.
You gotta, because I'm a fidgety boy.
You just be sitting in a chair for so long. All right.
Exactly. Blood is a spinny chair, so I have some credence.
Yeah, I have a spinny chair, so that helps me. So if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, or conversations to have with Brody, you can reach out to him on Instagram. You can always reach out to Kessel Run Weekly, and we will let him know, whoever is on the Instagram that day. You can find me personally at CJerica on Instagram or at CJerica95 on Twitter. Not super active on Twitter. I try to be on Instagram, or I'm usually monitoring the Kessel Run Weekly Instagram. Danny and Grace will pop in there every now and then. Don't forget to visit my blog, thekybercrystal.wordpress.com. Crystal does have 2 L's in it. I have not posted there in a while, but that wasn't good. But
No,
I am writing about the Snyder Cut. So I watched the Snyder Cut the other day.
The DC movies.
I have to watch the theatrical release again to actually compare it properly.
Ugh.
So I'll be watching that again. So that article that blog post should come out within the next 2 weeks. So keep an eye and an ear out for that. You can find this channel, the main channel, Kessel Run Weekly, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Kessel Run Weekly. Please join our Facebook group, The Kessel Crew. Feel free to message us also with questions, comments, concerns, or conversations. If you have a character you want to chat about, please let me know. I will get in contact with you and we'll set up a time to do a podcast. And if you don't want to chat about it, but you do have a character you're looking forward to, also feel free to let us know. I think that's it. I think that's all the Star Wars information I got for you, all the Kessel Run Weekly information I got for you. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review so we can leave it on a future show. Thank you, Brody, for being here.
Of course, I love being here. I love recording podcasts, and anytime you want to do it, no, I am 100% down. Even if it's a stupid one, like the food podcast. What did you eat?
That. Oh my God, that's a good idea. Star Wars food. Anyways, last tangent
Star
for the
Wars
day.
Food, 100%. Oh my God, next podcast. Next
podcast. All right, thank you guys once again for listening, and may the Force be with you.
Always.